If you happen to miss my previous appearance on my Coinceras channel, I am back now. As I have foretold for some time, the time has arrived for the world's reserveless currencies to appreciate. In the era we're entering, reserve currencies won't exist. Do you have any idea what the future holds for all major nations in the future? The CBDC will be the medium of exchange. The dominance of digital money will be complete on a global scale within the next several years. All of the major banks have tokenized their reserves. Some, like JP Morgan Chase, may even issue their own coins. There is already a Bank of America in the city, and I think they will win. There's one at JP Morgan Chase as well. The fact that we are departing from a world in which one entity controls the money is the most important aspect of the global monetary system. Everything on earth has to be brought under one roof. The US dollar exemplifies the point that a reserve currency is unnecessary. Sued proposals propose a decentralized British currency and, interestingly, do away with the necessity for a reserve currency. A lot of you might not understand how a CBDC gets rid of its reserve funds. Since central, cross-border transfers can take several days to settle, the only reason to keep a reserve currency is to guarantee that a medium of exchange can preserve its value for at least that amount of time. As an example, we examine the settlement times of stablecoins and digital currencies produced by central banks, among other digital assets. For obvious reasons, this renders reserve currencies superfluous, which is why major players and government are showing such strong opposition. The higher UPS are also aware of this. However, as I mentioned before, many think XRP or perhaps XLM will function as this intermediary currency. You have access to a wealth of documentation. DLNS is going to be a major event that will rule the world, in my opinion. Whether we're talking about the Olympics or additional picks, the world is changing because to distributed ledger technology. Blockchain and DLT are going to be game changers in the next revolution, and everyone should know it. Having the patience to see the project through to completion and diversifying into local utilities heavyweights should be your primary goals. The International Monetary Fund made this data available online on June 18. Central banks' digital currencies have the potential to revolutionize the Middle Eastern payment system. The idea of issuing a CBDC is now being considered by 19 nations in Central Asia and the Middle East. Today is June 18 of this year. The main goals are to make international money transfers easier and to increase people's access to formal financial services. For our purposes, nothing less will suffice. Do I support the CDC? Will I take a really bullish stance on CDC? No, I believe the concept of control and privacy is being exaggerated, even while it is feasible to restrict, undermine, control, or even destroy someone's bank account. Everyone is certain that their bank accounts are secure. They feel more secure making a cash payment. Our every move is being followed more closely than before. Behold, the object has been found. These days, central banks aren't bothered if you go out and buy a sandwich since technology can track and monitor everything. They are completely unconcerned about the product you are purchasing. What matters is that they will not care about the items you purchase. Will this result in a scenario that is more open and honest? 100%. It is my deepest wish that everyone gets that. Companies in the private sector are also developing privacy-oriented solutions. Ripple is just one example. Have these intrusive approaches been removed? Am I right? Can they figure out how to sidestep it? Of course, but they won't give a hoot about the actions of average citizens. However, I believe that currencies that are stable will predominate. And it will be the responsibility of commercial firms to distribute those. Although these coins are reliable, CBDCs should keep in mind that central banks are the primary users of digital currencies. The only entity authorized to issue them is the central bank. So it goes. According to the International Monetary Fund, digital currencies created by governments will eventually supersede fiat currency. There is no going back now. This is actually occurring at this very now. Despite all the changes, cash has remained unchanged. When was the last time that most people paid with cash? It must adapt to new technology if it is to remain relevant. Therefore, money will soon be digital. Regarding this matter, the head of the IMF has advocated for a stronger push towards digital currencies issued by central banks. The group has put forward stablecoins and CBDCs as ways to help the economies of the island nations in the Pacific. The majority of events took place in 2024, albeit it could have been November of 2023 or 2024, you guys. They seem to be spending a lot of time and energy on 2024. Reserve currencies in a changing global monetary system are the subject of this fascinating IMF paper, which relates to the organization's focus on its partners. The SEC has no purpose and different regulatory frameworks will lead to fragmentation. These are two of my most important discoveries. Just in case you missed it in my video from not long ago, they are getting ready for a shift in the international monetary system, which is a fancy term for when a new monetary system comes into play and the issue of reserve currencies is argued. Methods of payment are at issue here, because most existing mechanisms for international money transfers and payments are flawed. New systems can be built using distributed ledger technology (DLT) and related technologies to circumvent current limitations and inefficiencies. The current position of reserve currencies is determined by U.S. actions, yet, digital currency rivalry differs from traditional currency competition not because of differences in macroeconomic performance but because of differences in linked networks and users. The sentiment "hey, we don't want to be tied to the US dollar anymore," is being voiced by several nations for this same reason. Since SWIFT is being used as a financial weapon, we choose not to use it. This explains why they are so hard to get along with. In addition, there are some that are already in operation and have the potential to decentralize the IMS by allowing for multi-currency settlement alternatives. This would eliminate the need for future vehicle and invoicing currencies completely. The necessity for an existing international currency to solidify its position as a reserve currency on a regional or worldwide scale is another probable impetus for other new systems. We also pay close attention to XRP and XLM because they are referenced so frequently in these articles. The IMF predicted in 2021 that a multi-reserve currency system would lead to global stability. Tommaso Manzini, Rivoli, a well-known IMF official who has met with Ripple, is penning this. Keep that in mind. In this, Adrian Trussoni is also involved. The surname appears to belong to him. Perhaps I am not totally accurate about that. Nonetheless, sharing quarters is nothing new for them. You may be aware that various organizations, including Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, as well as central banks, are currently engaged in activities related to digital base currencies and reserve currencies. I kindly request that you subscribe and like my channel at this time.